Hey there, guys. Welcome. Uh, let's do some fractions. This is lesson 6 on Module 3, and today we're going to be subtracting fractions from numbers between 1 and 2. And so kind of today is going to be about keeping things particular when you're doing your fractional models, and then also understanding um, which pieces to take away, and kind of keeping things straight in your mind. So let's jump right in with the problem. This is problem 1, and problem 1 is 1 and 1/3, and we're going to subtract 1/2. Okay. Now, when we do this, we know that obviously we can't just take a half away from a third, and so we're going to need to put them into like units. We need to find that common denominator. And usually we just start off with the drawing, so I think let's just start off with the drawing, right? What can we draw? I have one whole, and that's going to be the thing here is I do have one whole, okay? This is 1. And then I also have a third. So I'm going to need 2 boxes for this. I have my 1 and my 1/3. And if I look at it this way, here's my thirds. And I look at it this way, here's 1. I have 1/3 here, and I have my 1. And I can go ahead and I can shade all this in. I have my 1 and 1/3, and I'm going to subtract, take away 1/2, and I would do that by going halvesies on this one, and so I have a half. And so this is what I have to do. Now, normally we would now make them into like units by splitting this, partitioning this off into thirds, and partitioning this off into halves. And I can see that my new units are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to be dealing with sixths here. Okay. And I'm going to need to be taking away 1, 2, 3 of them. Now, when I look over here, I only have 2. I only have 2 here. And so I need to take away how many? 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put that up here to remind myself. I only have 2 here, so I'm going to have to make sure that my one whole, I'm going to be needing to use this one whole as well. And so in order to do that, I'm going to need to cut this one whole up into the same number of pieces that I have over here in these two. They're sixths. So I'm just going to do the same thing I did over there to these ones. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I have 6 pieces. I have the same size pieces here that are over here that I need to subtract, so I can take some of this as well. So now I know I need to take 3, and ultimately when you're going about just crossing some of these off, because that's our strategy for doing this, is when we go about crossing some off, it doesn't matter which ones I cross off. I could cross off the 3 on the bottom here. I could cross off these 2 and 1 over here. I could cross off the ones on the top. It doesn't really matter, because in the end, we're still going to have the same number of sixths that we're dealing with, right? So before we subtract, let's find out how many total sixths do we have here in this 1 and 1/3. How many sixths is this? Hang on, let me answer the phone. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out how many total sixths I have. So let's count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that makes sense. It's a whole. So I have 6 sixths here, and I have 7 and 8. So I have a total of 8 sixths, and I need to take away 3 of those, right? Well, so obviously I could take a look at this. I can cross off 3, 1, 2, and 3. Cross those guys off, and then I can count out my leftovers. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I have 5 sixths left over. Now, let's take a look at the math here, right? 8 minus 3, well, 8 minus 3 is 5, and that makes sense, right? So when we had our 1 and 1/3, we had to draw it out using 2 boxes. And that's kind of just the big difference here, is just the 2 boxes, and that's what we have. I had to split my 1 into sixths as well, because I needed to take 1 out of it in order to take 3 away. And so I needed to keep those things straight. When I did my math up here, it worked out, and I was good to go. All right. So that's kind of the gist of what we're doing on this one. Let's take a look at another problem. Now let's try another example of 1 and 1/5, and we're going to subtract 1/3. Okay. So once again, I have 1 and 1/5. So I have 2 holes that I'm going to need to draw. 2 holes, because this is my 1, and then I have my 1/5 over here. And let's cut that guy into 5 pieces. I'm going to draw 4 lines. Alright, well, it's not so pretty, but it's going to work. I'm only using 1/5. I'm using that hole. So 1 and 1/5. And I'm going to subtract 1/3. So I'm going to cut this guy into thirds, and I'm only using 1 of them. Color in the bottom one this time. I'm doing 1/3 there. And so what I need to do is do the same thing I would always do, which is make them equal size pieces. If you've been paying attention, you've noticed that I can already kind of take a guess as to what my common denominator is going to be. I'm going to multiply my 5 times my 3 to get 15. And I'm going to just put that up here as my guess that we're dealing with 15. So I'm going to come back and see if that's right, okay? Because I'm taking my thirds here. I'm taking 3, and I'm going 3, and I'm going to go by 5, right? I need to make this into fifths, so I'm going to draw 4 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And so now I have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 times 3, right? Or 5 times 3. So I do have 15ths here. And I have one whole row of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm subtracting out 5 15ths. Now my real question is, what do I have over here? And if I know that these are 15ths, I need to divide these by thirds, because that's what I had here. So thirds, 1, 2, and I have 1, 2, 3. I have thirds. And over here, then I'm also going to need to have 15ths. And so I'm going to do 3 by 5. Draw 4 lines. 2, 3, 4. And these are all filled in. I have all of these because it's my hole. So how many 15ths do I have here? Well, here, this is a hole here. So I have my 15 15ths, right? I have my 15 15ths. And here I have 1, 2, 3. I have 3 15ths over here. And 15 and 3, I have 15 and 3 is going to be 18 15ths. So I have 18 15ths here, and I have 5 15ths over here, and I'm subtracting them. Let's cross them off. Okay, let's cross off 5 of these guys. There's 1, 2, 3. I'm done with that guy. I'm over here now. There's 3. I still need to do 2 more. 1, 2. And so that would leave me with 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, right? And if I'm looking up here at the math, I said 13 15ths. And does that make sense? 18 minus 5 is definitely 13, right? Okay. So same thing. When I originally took a look at this, I had 1 and 1/5. So I had to make my 1 and 1/5, and I made my thirds. I cut them into equal sections, and then I subtracted them out. All right. Okay. Let's do some more. Let's practice another couple of them here, and see how you can do with it. Let's do 1 and 3/4, and we're going to subtract out 4/5. Okay, same thing. I have 1 and 3/4, so I'm going to do 1, and I'm going to do another guy here, and then this is going to be 3/4. So let's do this. If you're following along at home and you're not quite sure about this, what I want you to do is I want you to pause sometimes. Like right now would be a great time to pause and try and solve this out yourself, and then come back and watch me teach the rest of it and see if what you've done matches up with what I'm doing. Rather than just kind of watching me do the whole thing, you can try and be more interactive with this. Pause that video, stop that video for a second, try and do it, and then see if you got the right answer, okay? So I have 1 and 3/4. I'm going to turn this into fourths. So I'm going to draw 3 lines, 1, 2, 3. And here I'm going to draw, I know that I'm going to need this one as well, because I'm going to just go ahead and do that now. I'm going to draw 3. So I have my 1, and I have how many fourths? I have 3/4. So there's 1, 2, 3. So 3/4, right? Okay. And then let's subtract out 4/5. So I'm going to go draw 4 lines. And I have 4 of them. So there's this one, This guy, that's 2. This guy, that's 3. This guy, that's 4. Make them the same. So now I'm going to go downward. I'm going to do fourths over here, so 3 lines. 1, 2, 3 lines. And over here I'm going to do 4 lines. 1, 2, to make it fifths. Wow, that's a lot of boxes. I better be making sure I'm careful here. I know if I counted these boxes up, I have 5 times 4, right? I have 5 groups of 4, or 4 times 5 here. So I know that I'm going to be dealing with 20ths. Okay. Over here, I have 4, I have 8, I have 12, I have 16. So 16 20ths. That's what I'm subtracting. Okay. Here I know that this one here is going to be 20 20ths. I should get this ready because I know I'm going to need some. So I'm going to go across 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I have all of these. Okay. I know that that is really 20 20ths. And I know that my 3/4 here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have a group of 5, 10, 15. My 3/4 would be 15 20ths. And I know that if I combine these up to find out how many total 20ths I have here, I'm going to have 20 and 15, which would be 35 20ths. And that's how many I'm going to have that this is broken down into. And so now I can subtract my 35. I can take away 16. I can find my difference between these two. And if I'm so inclined, well, I know that this right here, I said it was 15 20ths. So I'm just going to take all 15 away. And I know that I would only need to take away 1 more to get 16 20ths. I took away all 15 and 1 more to make 16 20ths, because that's what I needed to take away. And now I know that this was 20 20ths, and I only got rid of 1 20th. So I know that my new, that what I'm left with there is 19 out of 20. Okay? So when you're doing this, you're always going to keep this guy over here, and you're going to need to cut him up usually to make sure that you're able to use it when you need to take more pieces away. You can use this multiplication of the bottom denominators here to figure out what your new denominator is going to be, your common denominator. And then it's just a matter of doing the math. And you can even just transfer it up here where I'm looking at it as far as 35 minus 16. Well, why don't you take that aside and do 35 minus 16 and see what you get, okay? Anyways, I think you know, you guys are doing pretty good with this, and this is kicking it up a little notch, and just making it. I think the only thing about this is just a little more complex, right? It's just adding one more piece in here that just kind of makes it a little bit tricky. That's all. So, anyways, good job. Keep up the good work, and post any comments or questions. And thanks for watching. Remember, when you're doing these, pause, try it yourself. Hard work is going to pay off when you're doing your math. I know you have things that you want to go do. I appreciate you giving time to yourself for watching and giving time for yourself to make sure you're getting this correct. And if you've made it this far in the video, then I know that you're definitely a dedicated student. So thank you very much, and I really appreciate you. And you're gonna do good things in your life because you're able to do this. So keep it up, okay? All right. Thanks so much. See you tomorrow. Bye.